Hello everyone, it's Victoria with Nutrition by Victoria and welcome to another video. So, today I wanted to discuss something that is extremely prevalent right now in the vegan weight loss community, and that is calorie restriction. Now, I feel like I've made this style of videos so many times, but it's important that it keeps getting out there. The message keeps getting out there because you have these people who are creating these programs that cost a lot of money, and it's all because they've lost X amount of weight being in a calorie deficit, and they show you methodically how they did this. So Plantful Kiki, High Carb Hannah, Chelsea May Cullen, Healthy Emmy, Melissa Alexandra, they all use this low calorie density in order to maintain a calorie deficit, because that's truly what is going on in their cases, whether they're maintaining a super slim figure or they've lost X amount of weight. They've all done it using a calorie deficit model, meaning that they're using low calorie density, they're diluting their meals with vegetables in order to lose fat with a calorie deficit. Now, do you need to have a calorie deficit? Do you have to deprive yourself of consuming all of the carbohydrate calories that you want in order to lose weight? Now, the models are different because one maintains the metabolic functioning and the other one lowers the metabolic functioning. So the long-term effects of lowering your metabolism include suppressed thyroid function, which causes what I'm going to call metabolic damage. And this creates the cycle for slowed metabolism. Calorie deficit also disrupts your adrenal functioning, causing more cortisol to be released, and eventually can cause adrenal fatigue. There's other things that can happen. Sex hormones have a tendency to come out of balance, where you're dealing with a very low amount of estrogen that can be produced, and amenorrhea can result, and eventually you end up with anorexia type symptoms, even if you're not full-blown anorexic and you're just, not eating completely. But eating disorders develop, the symptoms of them, they develop when you maintain a calorie deficit for a prolonged period of time. So I'm here to tell you that you don't need to do that in order to be fit, slim, and healthy. But I will tell you that if you're coming from a deficit and you're coming onto a high carb, unlimited calorie diet, the likelihood that you're going to gain weight is about 100%, because you're coming from a place of deprivation where your glycogen stores are depleted, where you're dehydrated, where your blood volume's low, where your muscle density is low, where your metabolism's low. So your body's actually primed to gain fat. And this is when de novo lipogenesis gets triggered, is when you're in a calorie deficit. And that is where carbohydrates get turned into fat. And it's only in starvation situations where this happens, where you're coming from a calorie deficient diet. So I'm actually eating lunch right now. I'm eating these dates. Had a sugary smoothie for breakfast with strawberries and orange juice and sugar. And yeah, it was delicious. And I was on my bike so far for about 70 minutes today, just easy, spinning at home. And then I went for a beautiful bike ride outside. It's 50 degrees out, sunny, cold, but not as cold as it's been. So the key to losing weight long term, and we're talking fat loss because we don't want to lose muscle, we don't want to lose blood volume, we don't want to lose bone density, we don't want to be dehydrated, we want to be at our peak optimal human functioning, in order for that to occur, we need to be feeding ourselves regularly. There's no animal in nature that doesn't eat or purposefully dilutes its calories in order to eat less. All animals in nature eat until they are fully satisfied with the amount of calories that they have taken in. Our bodies have a biological need for how much energy we need to consume in order to be productive, in order to maintain all this internal environment without causing metabolic damage. Because all these people out there who are, doing what they're doing in the name of health or detox, they're actually hurting themselves more than they would if they were just eating normally. But the key, though, is you don't want to go down the path of restriction and create the damage, the metabolic damage, the hormonal damage that creates. But you also don't want to go and just eat whatever animal products and high-fat foods and create the damage that creates long-term too. So you're dealing with suppression of hormonal levels, which can create issues in a woman that can lead to like early bone loss and things like that. Or you're dealing with, the elements of eating high intake of animal products that creates heart disease and cancer. So you want to be flying the path where you get to eat all you want so your calorie needs are met, but your fat levels stay ultra low. So we're talking about 20 grams or less a day of dietary fat intake. And is that enough fat to keep yourself, healthy? It is, because when we don't have, when we're not consuming fats and our body needs to create fat, it can create it from carbohydrates. So it's really a beautiful thing. As long as you're meeting your essential fatty acid needs, which are super low, making sure you're eating some strawberries every day or having some green leaf vegetables. You don't want cooked omega-3s, because when you cook essential foods that contain essential fatty acids, you destroy them, you denature them. So they're null and void. All these people on the internet, there's this one chick, Gainsey Wayne or something. She has a big YouTube channel. I left some comments on her channel about her what I eat in a day, because it's super low calorie, super low carb, high in fat and protein. She claims she eats fish for the omega-3s. Girl, you cook your fish, you kill those omega-3s. Like, you're not getting anything from that except for toxic proteins and fats. So that's that. I guess this is kind of like a rant. I'm just so sick of seeing these chicks all over YouTube that are essentially starving themselves with the calorie deficits and the low carb diets in order to look a certain way. And that, I've done that, and it does not last, and it creates problems, metabolic problems, health problems, long term. And I'm just here to let people know that you don't need to do that in order to be fit, slim, and healthy, which is our natural design, as long as we're eating our natural diet, which is high carb, low fat, plant-based, vegan, and it includes refined foods. Our needs, when you go into the hospital and you need an IV bag, that IV bag contains sugar, salt, and water. Those are our primary nutrients that we need in order to maintain metabolic homeostasis. So those things come first. And when you have sufficient sugar and water and a little bit of salt in your diet, you're able to function at an optimal level. And then of course you need the nutrients that come from eating your whole foods, but you don't have to eat exclusively whole foods. In fact, I can't exclusively eat whole foods and expect to function the way that I want to. I have to eat a high amount of calories, a high amount of carbs, but in order to stay lean, I just keep my fat intake super low. Again, below 20 grams a day, which comes out to like 5% of the diet. If you're at a level of leanness where you're getting too lean or you need to gain weight or you're feeding children, having more fats in the diet can be beneficial. But even in that case, my children, they like to eat foods that have French fries and things that have little bits of fat in them. But they won't just eat like avocado. They won't just have some oil, or if they're having peanut butter, they're having it with something that's a carbohydrate. So our main diet as humans is carbohydrates. So don't restrict the carbs. Don't listen to all these chicks who are saying you need to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. It is not true. That is a quick fix solution that comes at an expense. If you follow this diet, you will never have to diet again. You'll never have to worry about what you're eating or what you're doing in order to lose weight. It is a longer route. It will take longer to get to your, desired level of leanness or your healthy ideal body weight, depending on where you're coming from. Some people lose weight right away. Some people it takes a little bit longer because they have some metabolic healing to do. But everybody gets lean, fit, and healthy. Well, the fitness comes from, doing exercise and activity, but it gets easier to be fit following this protocol. High carb, low fat, plant-based, vegan with refined carbohydrates added in. Keep the fat low. You want a fat deficit in order to shed body fat. You don't need a calorie deficit. That just creates metabolic damage. All right, thank you so much. I'm going to keep giving my dates. Thanks for watching the video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.